you do this every day.
So you were alone?
I was always alone.
Doesn't she know how hard this is?
She was very sweet, but she wasn't present.
Doesn't she get it?
It's the chronic things that become our everyday.
Like we find our person.
It's the smallest words that can hurt somebody.
The resilience and the beauty that lives within.
I have you to thank for that.
This feeling of anger and blaming.
Own yourself, you did the work.
Walking through these halls, I found forgiveness. I'm Dr. Guldal, and this is Are You Awake? In the beginning of each of our days, the alarm goes off. We lay there, we take a breath, we open our eyes, we stretch. What is the very first thought that comes into our minds? What are the things we think about first thing? Those moments can determine your health, your longevity, how your day's going to go, who you are deep in your core, what you need to focus on, and what you can change. When was the last time you really thought about what were your first thoughts in the morning? It's really important because when we have that self-discovery, we can actually take charge of our day in a way that we had never thought about before. Hello there, I'm Dr. Guldal. Do you like our new intro? Thank you, Sam Barton. She produced that. I love it. I think she did a great job. She's also the artist of our episode art. She does such a beautiful job. If you love her work, you guys go onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, give her a thumbs up, give her a like. She works really hard. She's so artistic and creative. She's our resident podcast junkie and has just done such a great job. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sam Barton today because today I'm being grateful. Today I've noticed, well, actually the last week, I've really been paying attention to this. I look at the research, I study the research, I have my day-to-day experience with the clients that I work with, and I teach this, right? We often teach what it is we have to learn. And I notice that as much joy as I've been able to accumulate in my life right now, that those first morning thoughts don't just determine how I can assess immediately who a person is and how they live their life and how their relationship's going to go. They determine me. Today's Fess Up Day for me. I want to share myself a little bit more and talk about this moment that we all have to make a difference in our own lives, which then in turn makes a difference in everyone's lives. So I don't know how many of you out there listening have had depression, anxiety, any time in your life, adversity. So what's beautiful about right now, okay, just a little segue to bring me back. What's beautiful about right now is that science and spirituality have merged, you know. My life has been about a bridge. My life has been about my own soul's journey. And from that has been my profession and my career. That's how that's grown for me. It's not true for everybody. We all find our own way. But there are always these constant elements to each and every one of us. I was a very depressed child for lots of reasons. And what did that mean for me? I often just numbed out, dissociated. You know, you've heard me talk about sticking my head in the refrigerator for days. I used food. That was my comfort. But more than that, you know, I really felt like I was ugly. Nobody would want me. Nobody would ever love me. I was terrified, you know, because of the way people didn't understand a foreigner of where I lived, somebody that looked different, had a different kind of name. A little darker skin when I was younger. I was a dark olive. All of those things reflected back to me. And then there's that genetic coding. My family tends to have a depression in their family. People think negatively when they're depressed. So my first thoughts every morning typically would be fear. Didn't want to get up and face the world because I didn't feel competent. Didn't feel like I could do it. So getting out of bed was hard. I can remember early on waking up and then my heart would start racing. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Like, oh my God, you know, how can I do this? Or I have so much to do and can I do it? This feeling of incompetence was always with me. I mean, my goodness, into my adulthood. But I kept forging ahead, trudging forward like all of us have to do. But those first morning thoughts, when I think back, were always about, I can't do this. I'm afraid to do this. I haven't done it right. People are going to figure out I haven't done it right. People are going to look at me. They're going to see how, you know, fat and ugly I am. Those were constant feelings within me. You know, and I've done a lot of work and I'm much older and I've moved past that and I help people find their own gratitude. And what this week has brought me is back to that, is for me to look back at myself. We live in this age of neuroplasticity and brain science and physics. I've become a spiritual leader, a minister. I no longer talk about my mission in life, but I talk about it more as my ministry. What does that mean? It means I'm a spiritual leader, not of a specific religion, but of my own branch of a spiritual organization. How did I get here? And yet, I know I have forgotten to be grateful. It was pointed out to me over and over again, not directly, but with this lens I've had the last, well, I say 1 week, but it's probably been the last couple of weeks. So just a moment about the research, back to me, because it's not all about me. It's all about you guys, right? You're hanging out with me today. John Gottman, researcher over the last 2 decades, been studying couples. One of the researchers I studied with is my master's degree, my doctoral degree, really looked at that when I was doing a lot of couples work. And his work is fascinating. And he has said for a very long time, all of his research bears it out, that he can tell in 3 minutes if a couple is going to be successful and flourish, or if a couple is going to, hit the skids and burn. And what he says is that there has to be a 5-to-1 ratio of positive to negative. In other words, we all, in our couples, when any kind of relationship, we'll roll our eyes, we'll think, oh, there he goes again, or she goes again, or we're angry about something. But if there has to be 5 positive things that we think about the other in order for that relationship to flourish. So when he first started that research, he just had that data, right? 5-to-1 ratio. It's proven true over and over again. His research is solid. Look it up. He has some great books on couples and relationships. But now we can take that further. We can see that positive thinking brings new neurochemistry, new pathways. The bottom line is our brain is a bunch of train tracks. The Eastern religions that talk about karma and reincarnation, what they're really saying is that there are these thought patterns that we're born with that are built into our DNA and our genetic code. Bruce Lipton, he wrote Biology of Belief, one of my favorite books, and he even has one for dummies. For those of us that aren't science-minded, that just want to get the data, he's written one for the layperson for all of us to read and understand. Love his work. But he also talks about how these molecules in our system change based on emotionality. You've heard me talk about Candace Pert. Candace Pert wrote Molecules of Emotion. The neuropeptides she discovered, neuropeptides are the proteins that make up the molecules that make up the cells. Hundreds of thousands of different neuropeptides carry emotional memory, have neurotransmitters, basically. Think about that. So there is something to say about this genetic process. So whether we talk about it in terms of karma, or we talk about it in terms of the generations and the genetic coding in our family, we know that we all carry some things that are just part of us. I look at my brother. When my brother was little, he actually still does it, he would cross his legs a certain kind of way. My grandfather did the exact same thing. And when my brother was doing it when he was 1 and 2 years old, he hadn't met his grandfather yet. How do these things happen? We look at our children, we look at our siblings, and we see the sameness. Well, it's not just in these physical actions, it's thought patterns as well. What's learned and what's genetic, nature, nurture, that argument that keeps coming up. Well, it's obviously both. But how we grab into our environment has a lot to do with these thought patterns, these genetic codings. So we have to pay attention to that and really see that. So there's Gottman's work of the 5-to-1 ratio. But we understand now that a positive thought builds a new pathway, creates a neurochemistry, creates an emotional experience that creates something new in our brain body. So when serotonin is increased and oxytocin is increased, we have a good sense inside of our body. Our central nervous system is quieter. Our immune system cells increase. Boom, like that. So now we have this genetic coding. Let's say some of us are born into this negative environment, depressed, negative thoughts all around us. We have to battle that. We have to have an awareness. And what I do, as Gottman, he talks about he can tell immediately in couples. I can pretty much immediately tell when a person walks into my office. And not the intuitive process. If I just take that away, take away being an empath and seeing and sensing a person and seeing what's going on inside of them, just from what they say. And one of the questions I ask them, I have like 3 or 4 basic questions I ask all the time. And one of the questions I ask is, what were the first thoughts you had this morning? What were the first thoughts you had yesterday morning? And based on how they get out of bed, I can pretty much tell their health and what their day was like. So I'm asking you to do the same thing. What were your thoughts? And what I discovered is that I still in the morning have, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm so tired. Why do I have so much to do? Probably something about physical vanity stuff, money, the basic stressors. But I don't do it all the time. That's what I'm noticing. As I'm doing my own transition, as I'm having these incredible opportunities with the show, with my clients, with my workshops. My goodness, I have a television show. I still can't wrap my brain around it. P Squared, you guys, it's going to premiere in April. It's taken me around the world. I've met incredible people that have, overcome adversity that is nothing compared to mine. I've had all these experiences, yet those basic patterns within me haven't changed. This was such a huge, rude awakening for me. And it came back to me because people kept saying, now here's what's wonderful. And I want you to look inside your own life. Has this happened for you? Has somebody said to you, oh my God, you're so lucky and you're so blessed? And you're inside of it. You're like, I am? No, I'm not. If they really knew, they wouldn't say that. What do they know? They don't understand. They don't know my stressors. Okay, now I get that we've all been there, but that's the trick of it. Every 6 hours, we make new cells. We make new cells based on the imprint and the copy of the old cells. So once again, I'm continuing to learn because these things happen in layers. And my wish and my prayer for everybody that comes into contact with the show or my TV show or me or anyone like me is to really realize that we can learn from this and we can accelerate this learning because of what we know now, what we know about the science now, and how young people today, 19, 20, 21, have such a consciousness that people in my generation haven't had. Yes, that's a segue. But we have to get that it's all in layers and give ourselves a break. I need to give me a break. I need to get off my own back. And I ask all of you to do the same. When we can look at that and remember that every 6 hours we can make new cells. As part of my practice as a naturopath, I put people on detoxes because I believe deep in my heart and soul, and my spirit guides have taught me and the ancestors have taught me, and the naturopathy school and all of these, things coming together, that if we clean our liver and we clean our colon, it offers us the opportunity not only for total health, but to shift some things. Because what I noticed when people would clean out old toxicity built up in their body, their gut, their liver, kidney, colon, there would be emotional experiences that would happen, spiritual experiences, because those cells would wake up on their way out and leave. We hold these, but in that cleaning out is an opportunity to make new cells. So no, you don't have to do a liver and colon detox. Do I recommend them? Absolutely. I do want to do a show on that. Maybe we'll do that next time. Never do it without consulting a professional. Let me just say that. The disclaimer. But what I'm saying is we every minute have an opportunity to make it different. Every minute we have an opportunity to see something new, wake up to something new. So what were your first thoughts this morning? What are your first thoughts every morning? So look at that, because this week I asked that question specifically because I heard myself differently the last 2 weeks. When I realized, holy cow, everything I ever dreamed of is right here, right now. And yet in the morning, I'm still saying, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not okay for this. I have my depression. I get tired. I don't trust myself. Giving myself that moment of humanity has allowed the gratitude to come in, has allowed the, oh my God, I get to do this. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not working 14 hours a day and I'm not tired, but the real issue here is, what am I going to put my attention on? The research now says over and over and over again, our brain's plastic. We can create an entire new system. All we need, really, is consciousness. We need to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. So what do we think about and change it? Gratitude journals. Remember when Oprah did her gratitude journal? Well, there is something to say about fake it till you make it. Now, do our emotions have to be involved when we have a moment of gratitude? And I'm not saying that we have to be the sappy hippie, like, oh, I'm all blissed out, I love life. You know what? We get annoyed with those people because it's so pure in many. I'm not talking about the fakos. I'm talking about the ones that really are sincere. They can get on our nerves, because we're like being all depressed and cranky in our own brain and, focusing on the negative. And they're like, oh, life's so good. They annoy us. Why? Because we really want to be there. And we can be there. Maybe our expression of it will be different. But first we have to listen. Because the moment we listen and we change it, sincerely change it, sincerely giving thanks, all kinds of things happen. Our immune system goes up. Our central nervous system gets quieter. We get younger. We get more beautiful because the shine comes through. We make new brain chemicals of serotonin and dopamine. Our hippocampus lights up. The amygdala that holds all the negative experiences gets quieter. And we make oxytocin, my favorite hormone. This means a lot because the gut gets quieter. And that vibration, making new cells, begins to feed on itself just like the negative does. So when we say give thanks or have a gratitude journal, research says, all kinds of research out there. There's a Robert Emmons that's written a book, something about giving thanks. Great book, How the New Science of Gratitude Changes Our Brain and Our Life. Look it up. These things are coming up so accelerated. Everybody's now on this bandwagon, which is really exciting for me. Because even 5 years ago, this was still fringe. I kind of felt like I was out there on my own talking about this stuff. And now it's everywhere. So go, do the research, look it up, find more. But today, right now, with me, you and I, what did you think about this morning? And then think about two things. Because people that sincerely give thanks about 2 or 3 things in their life are the people that exercise more, take better care of themselves, eat better, touch others more, allow touch more, which all of these things, right, increase our health. What's the big deal about being healthy? Well, the big deal about being healthy is I'd rather walk through the day with a smile on my face, holding myself upright, having the energy to get through my day. Think about that back talk, the whining of our back talk and the back talk and all the committees in our head that are constantly going. Now, we can't tell them to shut up. We've talked about thought stopping. And now we're taking it to the next step. We have to replace it. 1 or 2 things that we sincerely can be grateful for. Reframing the things that are most negative in our lives. So find those themes. My theme has been, oh my God, I'm so tired. That's been the thing. Well, I'm choosing this. Nobody else. And all of a sudden, I'm not so tired. I did my own experiment. Okay, I'm fessing up. Once I realized that I was still doing some of that, and I was being shown back my life that I don't know how or why, but all of a sudden I get to do these things and meet these people and have this podcast and be with all of you and have a TV show. I really have to pitch it, you guys. I'm so excited. Peace Squared. It's on Mass Squared TV. It's an internet platform. MAS2 TV Squared, right? MAS2 TV. My TV show is Peace 2, Peace Squared, airing in April. Check it out. Just beyond amazed that this is even happening. And even if it's a 15-minute flash in the pan, I got to do it. I'm still blown away. And when that was thrown back at me, when I finally just saw all of that, it was like, whoa, girl. You talk about walking sacred, talking sacred. You had a blind spot here. We all have the blind spots. So today we're shedding light on the blind spot. What did you think about today? What are the committee? What are they saying all day long? And find 3 things that you're sincerely appreciative for. Who do you love? Do you have a roof over your head? If your health is bad, can you find what's going on around you that's sincerely good? Can you think about that too? Immediately something will change. Immediately. That's what we're talking about, that we get to be in charge of the pathways, of the train tracks of our brain, of the train tracks of our cells. But we do need to be sincere about it. You know, I hear people all the time, and I'm sure I'm one of those people. Oh yeah, all that's great, but still I don't have blah, blah, blah. Or still I want blah, blah, blah. We are always going to want more, and dang it, we need to want more. We get to have more. We get to have everything we want. Maybe not right now, but we certainly get to want it. Reframing that to, I've been able to do all of this. And I want this. Looking at somebody we love, and instead of thinking about the toothpaste cap not on there, or the way he or she doesn't look at me when I talk, think about the things they do. Why are we still with them? What was it that we loved about that person in the first place? What about our children? For those of you that have children, I hear people, everywhere saying, oh, my daughter's so cranky and so irritable. No, she's probably just tired. So observing, being awake, hearing and seeing what our thoughts are, seeing how we word it, reframing it to what's really true. Reframing it to what's really true. Maybe he doesn't look at me because maybe he doesn't look anybody in the eye. Well, he used to look at me. What was the difference? Oh, well, I was probably smiling at him rather than frowning at him. Am I rolling my eyes more often than I'm smiling and looking in somebody's eyes? If I am, then what am I holding on to that I haven't let go? Reframing that if I let it go, I can feel better. I can feel grateful. It's not about what the other does. It's what we do. That's the most beautiful thing. I'm feeling pretty hyped up and excited this morning about this because, first of all, I love to share. And, it's very easy for people that, in positions like mine, that have the opportunity to be a voice or hand or to create a sacred, safe place, to be the opportunity to be someone's person. It's very easy, and it happens all the time, to take a power position, talk at people or manipulate that. And for me, for whatever reason, it's always been something that's been very distasteful because I know I'm just human. I have a ton of flaws. I've had this opportunity. It's why I was put here. But it's important for those of you that bring me into your home, that have kind of made me your person, if you will. Thank you for that. That you get that I'm right where you are. We're just doing it in our own way, in our own expression, our own manifestation of what that is. And what I discovered when I was in India last time is that it really isn't money that is the determining factor if people are happy or not. And I love the new research that's looking at that. People in poverty are equally unhappy as people that are very, very rich. It seems that those people in the middle class find more happiness, are able to use adversity and hard work and effort in creating their world, our world, that find more joy. So just remember that when we always want more money and we get to want more. And, my wish for all of us in the entire world is no one's hungry. Everybody has more than they need. The pie is huge. We can have everything we want. Maybe not right now. Maybe we're not in a position to ever see more. There's a way to think about that. There's a way to know that when we belong and that we're in a group together, that we can have more gratitude. That sense of belonging, that sense of, oh, thank God I'm okay or you're okay, brings health and it brings youth and it brings vitality. I don't know, quality of life has just always been the thing. After 9/11, more people reported gratitude and joy in this country than before because there was a unity coming together that happened after 9/11. We were so grateful it wasn't worse, and our hearts went out to all of those that lost their lives. And it actually brought more compassion to the troubles in the world because we finally had a taste of what that's like. So adversity isn't the worst thing that can happen to us because it's that resilience that brings us forward. But like everything else, it's being awake to that we need to do. So I'm really thankful that you listened to my confession today of my awakening, of my moving forward and my joy. I still can't believe I got to spend another 2.5 weeks in India. I get to bring who I am around the world, indigenous medicine, spirituality, science, as it is expressed around the world in a TV show. I get to hang with you once a week, and you care enough about what I get to bring forward to learn, grow, and connect and commune with me. So that's my gratitude today, and you can see that my voice is up and it's happy. And if you could see me, I'm smiling, my eyes are shining, and although it is, once again, that crazy 4:30 a.m. time when the best meditation happens, when the siddhas and the yogis and the monks do their greatest contemplative work. It's between 3 and 5 a.m. and it's a practice I'm working on because I'd rather sleep, you know? Carrie Roberts is bringing her healing bowls, her healing ability through the singing bowls, the Tibetan glass bowls, today as part of the healing vibration of the work. So take a breath, get comfy. Once again, don't be driving. Feel that smile on your face and think about the first 3 things you thought about this morning and see them differently. Look to the other side. Feel deeply in your throat and your heart one thing that you're just thankful for. Loved one, family, health, life. The sky is blue. It's spring. There you go. Feel that vibration coming through me from the ancestors, from the spirit guides, from the angels, from all of us, through your body. Feel the sound of the bowls. Now let your head go. If your head feels tight, let it go. Release all the thoughts. Just let them flow. And feel that moment of just thank you. And know that this moment is changing all of your cells, creating a brand new pathway in your brain body. It can't be taken away. All you have to do is remember this moment and exhale and go, yes, thank you. One thing. If you have a second and a third, bring them forward. But for right now, one thing. Own it, feel it. Let the sounds carry them through. Sound is the frequency that brings life. New brain cells, new immune cells, new heart space. Take a deep breath. Bring in that thank you. Deep exhale to the world. Feel your entire body just let go. Your pelvis open up. I can feel your heart. Feel mine. Take your time. Let the sounds carry you as the thank you lives through your entire body and out into the world. And through all the ancestors and all the spirit guides that move me. We are all relation. Aho.